Let's start with a moment of silence for the fallen. Another month, another eulogy for a game you spent hours in, a world you helped build. It flickers, and then it's gone. The servers go dark. The community is scattered to the digital winds. We've all felt it. That quiet rage you feel when a game you paid for is executed by the company that made it. This isn't an accident. It's a feature of the system we're living in. And it happens in two ways. There's the slow, quiet death, the online-only game, the live service experiment that just didn't print enough money. The company pulls the plug, maybe they file for bankruptcy, maybe they just get bored. And your game, the one on your hard drive, becomes nothing more than a useless icon. A digital ghost haunting your library. Then there's the other death. The death by 1,000 cuts. A beloved franchise, a AAA titan, gets hollowed out from the inside. It's a modernized, it's a reimagined, it's a wokeified until its own creators wouldn't recognize it. The story is subverted, the heroes are deconstructed into pathetic caricatures, and the soul is replaced with a checklist of talking points. It flops, deservedly so, and the creators blame the fans. But the end result is the same. The thing you loved is dead. You might think we should be able to stop this. But we can't. Not directly. Because you have to understand the fundamental lie you've been sold. You don't own a damn thing. They own the servers, they own the IP, and they hold the kill switch. But here's the key. Here's the insight that matters. If you actually want to fight back, you have to stop thinking like a gamer. You have to think bigger. Don't whine about your favorite RPG getting the axe. You need to target the entire rotten foundation of digital ownership. Why? Because the world is bigger than us. Most people don't know the difference between a battle pass and a season pass. They don't care. Their eyes glaze over. But you know what they do care about? Their movies. Their TV shows. Their music. The digital libraries they've spent a decade building. That's where you hit them. That's how you wake up the normies. Your average person might shrug when an MMO dies. But tell him that his entire collection of Marvel movies on Disney Plus could be memory hole tomorrow because of a licensing dispute or a new corporate mandate. Tell him the hundreds of albums he aborted on iTunes could become unplayable when Apple decides to change its ecosystem in 5 years. Now they are listening. Because now it's their stuff. This is where the fight is. It's not about game preservation, it's about false advertising on a global scale. The word buy on your screen is a straight-up lie. Steam, Epic, Amazon, Apple, they are all lying to you. You are not buying a product. You are leasing a license. A temporary, fragile, revocable permission slip that they can tear up for any reason, at any time, with zero consequences. That is a fight we could win in the court of public opinion. It's a market problem that consumers could solve if they grew a spine. But for the love of God, whatever you do not make the single worst mistake you could possibly make. Do not ask the government for help. Look, I'm coming at this from a place that believes the state is rarely, if ever, the solution. As an ANCAP, my foundational principle is that government intervention is like trying to put out a fire with a canister of gasoline. It's not just ineffective, it's catastrophic. Let's play this out. Imagine we actually get enough momentum to make politicians notice that our digital goods are disappearing. What do you think happens next? Do they gallop in on a white horse to defend consumer rights and artistic preservation? Don't be naive. They see an opportunity. An opportunity for two things they crave above all else: money and control. First, they will tax it into oblivion. They'll call it a Digital Preservation Act or some other noble-sounding nonsense. It'll come with a new digital content tax on every single game, movie, and song sold. To fund what? A new bureaucratic agency filled with political appointees whose job is to oversee a digital libraries. More of your money siphoned away to fund the machine that solves nothing. Second, they'll use it as an excuse to censor and control. We've already seen the script. They've been trying to label loot boxes as gambling for years. Give them an opening, and they won't stop there. They'll slap addiction warnings and gambling labels on anything with a hint of randomness. Age gates, restrictions, and outright bans will follow. They salivate at the chance to protect the children from a violent or immoral games. You think the culture war is bad now? Wait until some moral crusader in a suit gets to decide which games are appropriate for public preservation. And the core of the problem? The actual law they would write? It would be a masterpiece of incompetence. They might try to mandate that companies must keep games online forever. Just picture that. A law forcing EA to keep the servers for some dead-in-the-water 2018 shooter running until the heat death of the universe. How does a corporation respond to that? They don't just roll over. They do one of two things. Option 1. Malicious compliance. They'll fulfill the letter of the law in the cheapest, most useless way possible. They'll spin up a single, bare-bones server in a broom closet somewhere, running on ancient hardware that crashes every 10 minutes. The game will be playable according to the lore, but it'll be an UN moddable, unpopulated, buggy hellscape. Is that preservation? Or is that just a perverse joke? Option 2. Lobbying. This is the more likely outcome. Giants like Activision, Ubisoft, and Disney will throw millions at lobbyists to water down the legislation until it's meaningless. The final law will be full of loopholes you could drive a truck through. It'll say companies just need to submit an end-of-life plan. And that plan can be, and will be, our plan is to shut it down and tell everyone to get screwed. Nothing changes, except now there's more paperwork and the illusion of progress. Think about the semantics. What does a playable state even mean? Who defines it? A panel of bureaucrats who think a PlayStation is a type of workout machine? You'd create an entire industry of compliance officers and government inspectors paid to play games all day to verify they're working. It's a farce. Government doesn't fix things like this. It creates perverse incentives and makes everything worse. Let's be clear about the companies themselves. They are not your friends. When a studio goes bankrupt, they aren't thinking about their legacy or the fans. They're thinking about liquidation. Why don't they just release the source code? Let the community keep it alive? 2 reasons: greed and copyright. Copyright is its own special kind of monster. The idea that you can own an idea, something that isn't scarce, is absurd, but that's the world we live in. That IP, that code, is an asset. Even in bankruptcy, they'll try to sell that asset to the highest bidder. Some vulture corporation might buy the rights to their failed MMO, not to revive it, but to sit on the IP in case they can reboot it a decade from now for a quick cash grab. They would rather let it rot in a vault than give it to you, the players, for free. And server code? Forget about it. The last thing any company wants is a blueprint for private servers floating around. Imagine if the code for World of Warcraft's servers leaked today. You'd have 1,000 perfect, private servers tomorrow, potentially competing with Blizzard's own subscription model. It's their nightmare scenario. They will guard that code to the grave. But let's be honest with ourselves. Is every game worth saving? No. Who cares if some soulless, microtransaction-riddled mobile game dies? Good riddance. A game that failed because it was objectively bad and nobody played it isn't a tragedy. The real killer isn't just bankruptcy. It's ideology. Let's ask the hard question. What's destroying more beloved franchises right now? A small studio going broke? Or the wave of ideological conformity that has swept through every major studio, every movie set, every writer's room? It's the latter. It's a cultural plague. They gutted Star Wars. They turned Marvel into a lecture series. And now they are doing it to games. They take a masterpiece, inject it with their political messaging, change the characters to fit a diversity quota, and wonder why the fans are revolting. This is what's killing the industry from the inside out, far faster than any server shutdown. So if the government is a trap and the corporations are the enemy, who is actually saving games? Who is meticulously archiving every title, every revision, every ROM? Who is reverse engineering dead server code to bring back worlds we thought were lost forever? Pirates. Yeah, you heard me. Piracy. The great evil that corporations spend millions trying to fight is single-handedly doing more for game preservation than any other force on the planet. Emulators that let you play games from your childhood? That's the fruit of piracy. Private servers for your favorite dead MMO? Piracy. Fan translations of games that never made it overseas? Piracy. It's the ultimate irony. The people who care enough about the art to risk legal threats are the ones building the only lifeboat we have. Of course, a company would never officially sanction this. They're too selfish, too fixated on control. They cling to their dead IP, hoping for a necromantic payday years down the road. They'd rather it be dead to everyone than alive for some. But this all leads to the final, uncomfortable truth. We can blame the corporations. We can blame the ideologues. We can blame the government. But at the end of the day, a lot of the blame lies with us. With the consumers. People have been trained to be docile. To pre-order, to consume, and to move on to the next shiny object. This entire problem could be kneecapped tomorrow if players simply stopped being stupid. Stop buying online-only games with no offline mode. Stop pre-ordering digital-only deluxe editions. Stop pouring money into live service models that are designed, from day one, to have a short lifespan. Vote with your wallet. It is the only vote that matters. See a game riddled with microtransactions and always online DRM? Don't buy it. See a developer lying to their community? Don't support them. The real way to save games is to change what we value. Go to platforms like itch.io or GOG. Find the indie studios, the small teams, the passionate creators who are making games because they love making games, not to please shareholders or a board of directors. Buy their game. Play it. Leave a review. Tell your friends. Engage with them. That is real-world action. That is how you build a better culture. Not by signing a petition to a politician who doesn't care about you, but by directly supporting the art you want to see in the world. So, in the end, no, we can't stop them from killing games. not in their world, playing by their rules. The solution is not to force them to change, but to make their destructive model obsolete. Build a parallel economy. Support the creators who respect you. And let the big, bloated, creatively bankrupt dinosaurs go extinct. They're doing a fine job of it themselves.